Not too long ago, someone asked me to do a video of some of the modifications I've done on my West Wight Potter 15 Bandit. And so, while I'm cruising south towards Cape Lookout on the Outer Banks 130, I'll run through a few of those things. I guess starting up at the bow, I replaced what was originally a Danforth anchor with a 8-pound mantis anchor that's hanging from my pulpit. Didn't have a official anchor mount for that, so I just tied a couple of carabiners to my pulpit, and it actually holds it pretty well. And the mantis anchor is awesome. Where I've drug on the Danforth a few times, that mantis bites hard and digs deep and never drags and is easy enough to recover. So, a nice upgrade. My original lapper that I had on my head sail, I replaced with a Jenny made by Hyde Sails on roller reefing. That was the OEM reefing system. It has the flexible furler on the front. It works well, although in storage for a while that flexible furler tends to get a little bend in it, and you have to kind of lay it in the sun for a day or so before it straightens itself back out again. But overall it works really well. Nothing much to report really in the cabin. I did repaint the cabin ceiling and things after I got it. My storage bins for the trip. On the interior of the cabin, I did relocate my electrical panel to the upper inside of the bulkhead. I've got a few switches for running lights, anchor lights, and also to recharge phones and whatnot. And also a little cabin light built into the box. Gives me plenty of light at night. Not too much, but just enough. I have a 12-volt automotive battery mounted down in the bridge deck area. Also run the main halyard back to the cockpit, and since I don't really need a jib halyard with the roller furling, I've run my topping lift back to the cockpit on the port side. Here in the cockpit, where the hatch would normally mount, I have what I call my glove compartment. That was actually the former hatch that was on the boat. When I bought it, I built a new hatch and then cut the old hatch up and made this little thing. Holds my coffee cup, my water bottle, gives me lots of little bins to store my spot, GPS, foghorn, phone, whatever other small items might otherwise be bouncing around the cockpit. I also ran my centerboard pennant out to the cockpit, so that even when in heavy weather, when I have the cockpit hatch in, I can still raise and lower the board from the cockpit. Let's see, back here aft I do have an anchor light mounted on my little Honda 2.3 horse, which works perfect for this boat. I do have a boarding ladder, and I did upgrade to the Ida Sailor rudder, which works pretty well, and I have a tiller clutch, which pretty much will allow the boat to steer itself for long periods of time without too much trouble. It's nice to be able to have no hands on the tiller and be able to fiddle with other things. Oh, and finally, I did put 2 lazarettes in the aft end of the cockpit, which are good for holding dock lines and fenders. I also have a little lunch hook on the port side. And let's see, final thing, I'm not using it at the moment, but I do have a tiller extension, which is nice if I want to try to really sit forward, or if I'm having to be farther forward in the cockpit to play with lines or whatever else. Today, light winds, not really a need for it to be on there, so typically just get out of the way. I think that's about it. Pretty simple stuff. Some people have done a lot more, probably a lot better, but for the type of sailing I do, it's worked well. Fair winds.